Hey ratbags, welcome to my WITCHFIRE first impressions. The game is out today on the Epic Games Store in early access, so it will receive content and more updates obviously over the coming months and possibly years. And it is a first person roguelike shooter with some heavy dose of action, RPG nature, and of course try and survive while you shoot and defeat all of these amazing creatures. I've spent just over two and a bit hours in the game so far, and I am absolutely loving it. The atmosphere of this game is second to none. The graphics, the world they've created where you explore is fantastic. It isn't a typical open world game and it isn't a typical roguelike. I'm going to discuss and go through some of the stuff you need to know while we talk about my first impressions. But overall, I think this game has got bags of potential. I still need to really unlock more of the mid and late game first to give you guys a much more detailed review, of course. This is a game I've long looked forward to actual release, covered it for years in terms of news and when we might expect it, and it's now finally available. So the story is that you are a prayer, or that's your type of witch hunter, and witches have basically become a huge threat in the world, so much so that the Vatican is trying to obviously eradicate them. They think they found a special artifact that has been washed up upon the shores after being sunken in the wreckage of a boat, and you're sent out to go and retrieve that artifact. WITCHFIRE is made by the same people that made Bulletstorm and The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, some of them developers anyway. And of course, as you might expect and hope, the shooting is probably the best mechanic of the game, but there is a mixture of spells and different artifacts that you can get that'll help you along the way. Has to be said, you don't really unlock a lot of this in the first few hours. It is a tough game. This isn't something for a casual that just wants to have a few mindless runs through. It's got a Souls-like quality that if you die, you basically lose all of your currency, your WITCHFIRE, and then you can't really upgrade your character until you make a proper escape a la Tarkev. They're called expeditions, and each time you join an expedition, the world can actually change. Enemies may move to different locations, landmarks and specific points of interest will be slightly different in terms of loot, chests and possibly bosses. The actual maps themselves don't change though, so you will always have the windmill in the same position, the boatyard in another, but pretty much everything else dynamically spawns in terms of loot and the enemies. And that's what you're tasked with doing, starting off slowly, joining one of the worlds and hopefully getting enough WITCHFIRE that you can make an escape, while eventually getting strong enough to take on some more of the hard objectives. Along the way, as you level up, you will unlock the ability to gain spells and special attributes and buffs that you can gain and use in each expedition or each run. So combining the different weapons and artillery with obviously your spells and all of them bonuses and buffs with a fluid movement system is pretty key. You have a special dash attack as well as obviously ability to run. You can strafe, you can go pretty fast sliding down, and you've got a double jump as well. It is kind of reminiscent of games like Doom, modern Doom at least anyway. You'll have to clear out certain areas of enemies before you can get the full rewards. Take care not to wander in against too much of a harder enemy until you've leveled up a bit or got yourself some new weapons, and just generally explore each environment very well. Now obviously early access launch, it does look like there's only a few environments at first, and it doesn't look like they'll obviously be adding a lot more. But after, like I said, two and a bit hours, I really had only scratched the surface of what I should be doing on this map in terms of the bosses I encountered or just harder areas filled with much more challenging creatures. The overall objective is we're trying to find a witch's familiar. This strong, powerful witch has a lieutenant nearby, and eventually you will get in there and take them on. You have got a home hub, somewhere safe where you can come back and upgrade and just take a moment. You can get yourself some potions and basically increase how many you can carry to give yourself some health. And there are some minor consumables like mushrooms that can sometimes heal you, sometimes do damage to you as you explore the world to hopefully regain your health. And then from your home base, there are other places to go and explore to get your upgrades or different weapons and the artifacts and items that may help you, including a small little tutorial section which explains some of the very basics of the game. I would say this left me a little bit still wanting clarification about certain things. Wouldn't say it's the most exhaustive kind of tutorial, and there are certain points that I would expect maybe more information to be given as it expands. So definitely I would like to see that improved a little bit more robust features that you can actually take a look at and understand each of the systems that make this up. So of course it is a roguelike. As you obviously die, you will lose your experience, as I said, basically the witchfire, and then you need to get that witchfire back so that you can upgrade. This is pretty simple enough. You check out the Ascension Shrine, you can go ahead and choose various different attributes to increase either your health, how much you heal, your endurance, and how much witcher fire that you'll actually be able to earn, as well as your luck as well. These upgrades will get more expensive in terms of the cost of witchfire as you progress, so you may have to be a bit more choosy, but it does look like they are pretty much almost endlessly being able to be upgraded. So it's probably like 2 or 3 runs before I finally worked out lots of mechanics to actually have some experience to upgrade, and I certainly didn't get any kind of brand new gear until the very end of my 2 and a bit hours. You're pretty much just stuck with this one pistol, but you can equip a second weapon and a special demonic weapon. You'll also see you've got 2 slots of different spells as well as some accessories. Even being able to access the equip gear section, you do need to be like level 2 or level 3. And you basically gain a level each time you use the Ascension Shrine to give yourself some of that witchfire into some of your attributes. Once you get to level 3, you unlock the workshop, which has you choosing what you want to research. So you can unlock obviously brand new weapons, medium or long range, maybe extra hard spells or different artifact slots or different items. The first one that you probably have to unlock though is this, which gives you more options in the world that you might come across that can help you. So you can basically choose some to research, and then you go out in the world and you basically have to spend that amount of time, whatever it says, on an expedition, and you may come across these new arcana, which are basically modifiers that'll help you. So it's pretty in depth. It definitely will keep players that are really obviously into the game a lot having something to strive for, to either improve weapons, to improve their character, or to unlock new stuff. But this is pretty much it. How you do unlock new gear is by spending more of your time researching it, exploring more of the actual world. So as I said, the map and this Scarlet Coast where I started out was just simply fantastic. The environment, the atmosphere is probably some of the best I've ever felt or seen. It's just dripping with atmosphere, and it's almost a shame it's not actually part of a proper open world, maybe survival game, which I'm kind of used to, or my channel's used to. But like I said, I've always kept an eye on this because I like the idea of this witch hunting kind of against monsters and undead, and the idea that it's kind of an ancient Doom style game. I was really struggling at first to realise that obviously you need to get up close with certain weapons, so your pistol's not going to be great for long range encounters, hence why it wasn't doing much damage. So you can't really cheese enemies from afar unless you've actually worked yourself towards getting something like a rifle. Then I started to get to grips a bit more with the combat, taking on the enemies and melees. It is very challenging, like I said, you don't have much of a health pool, although you can increase it. And the idea is that you'll clear out some of these enclaves, and once you've defeated all the enemies, you can then get extra loot. There's various different types. You've got these bumbling ones that will just come up to you and try and take you on with their forks. You've got musketeers that do huge amount of damage with their shots but will stay quite far away from you, and then you've got swordsmen that will kind of teleport and try and attack you, as well as other mini bosses and much larger creatures too. The idea is that the more that you are moving around and being able to utilise your dash ability while taking a lot of damage to your enemies but without taking much yourself, you will carry on doing more. So your basic stamina doesn't drain as fast, you keep your stamina levels up, and it's just the idea that you're going to get in this movement system and combat system that's meant to be fluid and rewarding. But if you take a hit, it kind of knocks that progress down. It wasn't 100% clear in the first few hours how impactful this was, but I'm guessing it will certainly become a lot more interesting as I progress a bit more and I get better. But basically, if you get caught out by a few enemies, I found that it was hard to get away. Your stamina drains so quickly, and then it's just, a case of them just wailing on you before you've died. You get one chance to go back and get your loot when you die, and then if you die on that second run, then that's it. You'll only be able to go and get whatever loot you've accrued on your second body. The enemies drop some of these witchfire clumps, and this is what I was talking about with the arcanas. So we unlocked more of these when we did our research, and now we've got more choice. So it's random drops in terms of what you'll get, and then you've got to choose which one you may unlock or choose. You'll come across various different chests. Some are unlocked, some that give you feathers, white feathers, and you can use these to re-roll and maybe choose a different type of arcana kind of attribute. A lot of the early ones were geared towards spells, which I obviously hadn't unlocked yet, so it felt kind of a bit pointless. I think it would have been nice to start off my prayer character with at least one spell instead of you had to actually work pretty hard to get it. As I've certainly seen from the trailers, it looks pretty impactful the way that you combine shooting and utilising your magic to really take down your foes. So there's quite a few little dynamic events that can happen. You've got like this little trail thing where hopefully it will take you to some loot. And then once you get to this loot, you've got a choice whether or not to pick it up or not, as it may give or set upon you some more enemies or some sort of other new danger. And then there will be certain points of interest once you start getting more of the research unlocked, unlocking more arcana that you'll have to go and explore and hopefully complete more sort of missions, like escorting this restless soul, this wisp. It kind of was spawning enemies along the way, and yeah, I ended up getting my ass kicked by them. But you get the idea. Some of these will start appearing as you unlock more. There'll be more points of interest to go and explore on the map. And apparently as you progress further in on each map, if you get too good, then the witch will start making the game a lot harder for you. As you can see from my failed screen, I don't need that at the moment. I'm failing quite a lot on my own without any extra difficulty. And that's pretty much it. Rinse and repeat. You go back to your base, you top up on some potions from some of the herbs that you gained, go ahead and use your Witchfire to get yourself upgrades for your attributes, hopefully keep researching to unlock new weapons, new gear, and then try and survive as you explore. Different parts of the map will have different kinds of encounters. They're not all just simple enemies. You've got areas that might have traps sometimes, or you might have a new moving target mini boss that travels all the way around the map, and you have to try and take him out pretty quickly before it summons more creatures to take you on. Good roguelikes make you want to come back more and more, so if you can get past the first half hour, especially with someone that doesn't necessarily enjoy these kind of mechanics but you like the look of the world or the shooting mechanics, then definitely get past that point. Get good, spend time learning about taking on certain enemies and getting close up range with them with just your rubbish pistol, and pretty soon you will start feeling a lot more powerful. Once you get more stamina, everything becomes a bit easier and you start to really appreciate how much time you'll be spending in here trying to upgrade new abilities or get new weapons and obviously taking on new foes. There is a huge amount of choice so far in the limited time that I've played. It's not a full review, obviously not enough time, but I did just want to give my first opinions, and this is instead of basically just a let's play. But yeah, I'm super excited about this game. I'm definitely going to put some more time into it, hopefully make some more guides, and hopefully deliver you a proper review in about a week's time. There are some dangers, I guess, that since it's early access, I'm not too sure about the frequency of updates, and it definitely needs to be examined exactly how much content there is in the game beyond this map and the other one that I saw was definitely open and available once you got to a certain level. The menus show lots of different varied locations and stuff, so I'm hoping that a lot of them will be part of early access and not simply incoming soon. But after absolutely years of keeping my eye on this, I'm so glad to see it actually arrive, and yeah, I can't wait to dive into it a little bit more. Hopefully, maybe appearing on consoles in the future. I would expect it to arrive on Steam in probably 6 months, maybe a year. It is an Epic Games exclusive for now, and yeah, good luck getting hold of it, having a go, and let me know what you think about it once you spend some time. My name's Jade. Until next time, ratbags, I'll see you later.